Okay, so the next thing that I did from this point, once you've got your mask, obviously make sure you spend more time on yours and it looks a lot better than mine. But once you've got your masked out image, resize it however you want, so Control and T. That'll do. So then what I did was I right clicked over here, went up to duplicate layer. I'm usually pretty lazy and I just use it as I just leave it as layer 1 copy, but then that can get confusing when you've got a big long list of layers here, so probably best to actually give it a name. So Zendaya copy, and then 1 because there's going to be a few of these. Drag this underneath, and the next thing we did was added our gradient. So for now, let's hide that main layer. We're just going to focus on the copy. Come down here to the adjustment layer circle, and you want gradient map. Now as you can see, when it's not been clipped to a layer, it will just affect the entire page with the colours. So the first thing to do is right click, create clipping mask, and now you can see it's just going to affect the layer of Zendaya. So to edit this, come up here, and then you've got your what would you call this? Your colour chart, let's say. Now you can use one of their presets. You can pick one, for example, going pastels. You could pick that, and then you could add colours as you go, changing them to whatever you feel like doing. But I prefer to not do it that way and just mainly edit via the colour chart, because I just think you have a bit more control that way. If you're picking one of these, let's say you have a specific idea in mind, it's go ahead, you can use one of these. But I think if you're just trying to experiment with different colours, different styles, I think it's better to just focus it on down here. So let's bring this up, maybe put, and then just click along. That's how you add the different colours. So maybe start with like a black, and already it looks cool. It's just put a lot of I don't even know what the word is. It just looks cool. And obviously I did it on quite a simple magazine style, but using things like gradients, you can make some really cool effects. So then just go along, just adding different colours, making them lighter or darker as you go. It's completely up to you, or even changing what colours are in there. So you had some blacks and purples, maybe got some blues then. Let's say we want to go with that. That'll do. Up here, again, change the colour, make it lighter. The higher you go up, you do want to start making it lighter, because otherwise the features such as the face will just become, you won't even be able to tell, it'll just be like a solid colour at that point. So it is good to stagger the colours up. You can change colour, but as you come up, you do want to start making it lighter, because that's how you get like the cool details in the change of colour in things like the hair and in the feathers and stuff, and with the shadows like on a face. But this is basically how you do that. Keep going up, trial and error really of what you think's cool, what colours you like. Let's see what happens if I just throw like another dark one in actually. Okay, yeah, not the best. So you want to make sure you focus. Keep it in the colour scheme, but make sure you go in lighter as you go up. And then if you wanted to add more sort of definition, bring these up a bit. Add more darker colours further down and change it that way if you wanted to add more detail. Change colour actually. Let's go for like a red maybe. And obviously as you go through it, that then when I put the red in kind of drowned out some of the blues and stuff, so it's good to generally keep it within the colour scheme. But it's just a trial and error, just play around with it, see what works for you. But let's say I was happy with that. Okay, everything's fine there. Okay, and there's your gradient. All I did from then was just make multiple copies of these. So You can right click and duplicate layer, or you can just Control C, Control V, and just bring a copy in. Now obviously, once you do that, it's going to unclip the mask. So what you then need to do is make a copy of the gradient, and then re-clip them to their individual layers. So create clipping mask, create clipping mask, and that's when you get back to this point, and then you just want to position them where you want. So the effect I with was I kind of had it kind of like cascading back. With mine, I don't think zoom out a bit. Mine, I'm pretty sure I just kept the same colour scheme going back. Let's just hide that initial layer. Yeah, I kept the same colours. Something you could do is, as it's going back, change the colour scheme. So maybe start with the light one at the front and actually have it going back into darker colours, or actually change the entire colour like palette altogether. Make some cool like cascading effects with them. With mine, when I just chose to keep it simple, I kept it the same going throughout. Bring that back in. What I did do then is, if I position this one at the front to where you want, kind of just drop the opacity a little bit on it. Yeah, I think I had it on maybe like 65 or something. That's probably a bit too light, because you still want it to be prominent. You don't want it being too kind of faded so the other stuff's coming through. It's hard to tell on this one, but if I show you my example here, you see on these features here, you have the colours of the previous one coming through. My layer one was set to 65 in this instance, but it was I had all my colour balance on and it changed it, made it lighter. These are quite dark. So if you have your opacity down, it's really going to come through. That's pretty cool actually. But you see, you can kind of get that kind of, it's kind of like a glitch effect almost, but just from changing the opacity of the different layers. And if you wanted to do it sort of like I did in this instance, you just see little bits of colour creeping through in different areas, and it just kind of makes it stand out a bit more. But that's how you do that. It's dead simple, just a gradient map, clipping it to layers. And then obviously what I then did after that was added my colour balance and levels to change the layers. But for the general effect, it's dead simple. You just experiment with colours, find an effect you like, and then position it where you think it'll look cool. It's dead simple, dead straightforward.